How's it going, John?
Not too bad now that I'm getting some technical difficulties out of the way here. So I'm on my
I just
webcam today.
realized I just realized I'm in Firefox. I clicked the link in Firefox. I meant to click it in Chrome. So I'm going to re-enter.
Oh, I
There we
see you
go.
coming in on another one there. Look at that. You're going to be in here twice. Oh, now you guys are just stuck with me for a second because I see Robbie's clicking back in under his other one there. So hopefully everybody's doing all right. And just a reminder that if you get a chance, go to streamyard.com/Facebook and give them permission to use your URL or your name, sorry, so that when we have comments, we can actually put you in here and know who it is. And he's back on Chrome.
Yeah, it doesn't work on Firefox because we get those weird reflections, like we're in a house of horrors, and
Oh, exactly.
no es bueno, señor. So
I'm going to turn my headphones up here too so I can hear you a little better. There we go. My headphones are really down low.
So I tried to get a speaker in today and tried to get Maggie, but no luck and not a worries. I got lots of stuff to talk about. I got some really cool ideas I want to share with everybody and talk a little bit about marketing, some success strategies, and I want to show some actual lighting, including all from real shoots, including sort of an overview of the setup for my last Fairy Day event, which was 3 weeks ago in London, Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
People might get tired of that. I don't know.
I
But
don't think so. They're interesting because it's the marketing part of it that works for any genre.
And I'm always amazed that more and more people, John, I've been bugging you. You should be doing your own fairies, and more people don't do them because we have a Fairy Day event coming up in Sault Ste. Marie, end of October. We got 28 bookings already, and last year we had 42. So similarly, that might happen in your area where we started off 19, 20, 21, 22. I don't know how many we did
I
last.
think we did about 19 the first time, and the one we just finished, I think you had 28 or something like that.
So it's growing. So next year we might be like 33, and then the
No,
next year
exactly.
42. These things grow. Everybody I show them to, every single person is totally enamored, and the response is very positive. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful product and service to bring to virtually any market as long as you have little children around, specifically
Agree.
more so little girls. But young guys come too, but it's 98% girls. And our last Fairy Day in London, we before I show you the pictures, we went down. We take two cars because we don't have a van. I was supposed to buy a van last year in early spring, but COVID just ruined everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we take two cars, which I kind of like because what happens is we go down, we set up, we start shooting. As soon as I'm done shooting, I can leave right away because my wife does all the proofing. I hate doing proofing. Now, John, last time I was at your place, I asked you if you would do some of the proofing, and you obliged, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't seem to mind it as much. It's not that I don't mind it. I find it grueling, and if Tina, she's pretty good at it, you're pretty good at it. I don't know. Maybe I'm being.
We probably made more by having Tina and I doing it than you and Tina.
Yeah, maybe. I don't want to sound like a
It's his
whiny
face.
crybaby, but it's just one of those things. What I like to do is, as soon as I'm done, I like to get home and start working on my computer and start working on orders. So
Yeah.
I'm a little obsessive compulsive about that, and this is one of the lessons I'm trying to impart upon my daughter. My daughter just turned 26, and did you get the email that I sent out this morning?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Did you get the email I sent out this morning? I actually posted it in the Facebook group too.
I don't think I did. I'll have to look at my emails and see, but I don't think I did.
All right, let me just I'll give you a quick synopsis. It was to promote this live stream, and I talked about the solution is so obvious, it's right there in front of me. I recall thinking this thought over the years. I know my competition won't do what I'm willing to do. And to me, it's always been a bit of a secret. People ask, what's the secret? I mean, there is no secret. You just got to do with most
Oh, exactly.
most people.
And I did
are
get
not
that
willing.
email.
Yeah, that's the one. Anyways, that was inspired by a conversation I had with my daughter last night. We went for one of our famous father-daughter walks, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about because you probably do those walks.
Oh,
With,
my daughter and I go bike riding together when we can. That's our daddy-daughter time.
Yeah, and you probably have some really good conversations, and it's wonderful bonding, right?
Yeah, although she's 14 now, and now it's the other day we were watching a movie, and it's tears on her face because she was on her phone with her friends, and then I was like, "Here, I'll go downstairs. You talk to mom." And it was all boy stuff. So
Oh,
she's getting
you
to
got
that age now.
you got to know when when to leave the room.
That's
This
when
is
I leave
true.
the room. She doesn't want daddy around, even though she's a daddy's girl. She doesn't want daddy around for that stuff when mommy's there.
No. And, you know, I got to talk about this a little bit. I remember when my daughter was around 14, I said to her, okay, we got to talk about sex. She's like, no, no, no. I said, no, I don't blame you. I said, just one time. I'm only going to mention this one time. Okay. And then I'm going to shut up. And she listened. She's like, okay, I'm all ears. And I said, you got to be very responsible and don't get pregnant.
And don't get pregnant.
So that's all I said. And she was about 14. It's an awkward conversation, but
It's a very awkward one. But my daughters, we've been very open with our work with our girls all through their life, so they know that they can come to us about anything. So
cool. That's a good way to be, and you can bring into that conversation success principles, life principles. Running a business is a really good set of philosophies and experiences based on your own experiences. That, you know, your daughter, I'm sure she'll love hearing that stuff. I mean, my daughter certainly does. She has moments where, you know, this summer she was sort of a little more distant and doing her own thing, and that's cool. She's 25. She turned 26 in August, and she's like, but then she's come back, and yesterday she's like, you want to go for a walk tonight? Right away I knew she wants to talk. And there's those conversations about stuff that she can only have with her dad. So that email was inspired, and I already kind of knew what I was going to talk about today, and it got me thinking about that idea, that strategy. And if you're in the group, which hopefully you are, go read it. It's actually pretty good. I quoted Grant Cardone, and this is actually the quote from Grant Cardone was what came out of our conversation last night, because my daughter she just come back from a trip. She said, Dad, I was driving home, and I was thinking, I really want to start a business. I want to be entrepreneurial. And I said to her, that's great, you know, keep building up that dream, but you got to be careful because there's going to be demands, and this is true about her. And this is true about anybody really. You get 3-4 things happening all at once, and you feel the pressure pushing down on you. You say, how the hell am I going to get this all done? A lot of people will quit or get filled with despair, and she does that
overwhelming feeling.
Yeah, and I said, you got to learn to manage that as a business owner. You have no choice.
Yep.
You have to learn to manage that. You've got 5 or 6 balls in the air, and you've got to be able to do that and operate it as a skill set like nobody else can. Because she was saying, yeah, everybody I know, all my friends, everybody's just like, they think it's like a silly idea to be in business and, you know, just be normal. And that's where that quote from Grant Cardone comes in. And I also told my daughter a quote that I remember when I was 21 years old. My first job in photography was working for Dion Photography, which was Rene Dion was one of the biggest, most well-known and respected mining photographers in North America. And that's because Sudbury, we were a mining community, and that was his specialty.
Yeah.
This guy could rock it like nobody else. And anyways, I worked for them for almost 2 years, and I always remember what his wife Margaret said once. It's funny, you know, I hardly remember anything because I partied and drank a lot, and I was up in the moon. But I always remember this little comment she said. She said that your reputation has to be impeccable. I'm like, that stuck with me, and I quoted that to my daughter yesterday. And I said that to her vis-a-vis the idea that when all this shit happens to you, you don't have the option to say, well, I'm going to delay that one, or I'm going to procrastinate on that one, or I'm going to make an excuse for that one and tell the client I can't do it as I promised I would do it. None of that. You're starting to really weaken your reputation.
Yep.
You know
I think, I don't know if you saw, I think was it last night? Warren actually did a video, and he was quoting, I forget the gentleman, but he was listening to a podcast from a lady on his car there, and she quoted a quote by somebody. I can't remember if it was Winston Churchill or something.
No, that was Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, and it was the man in the arena.
Yeah, that was Teddy Roosevelt before World War I.
It almost speaks exactly for how you're talking, because people were asking him, why are you getting in? You should just quit doing all your fitness stuff. You should just quit it. And it got him thinking. And when he heard that, he said it was exactly what he had to hear. And it's right. It's about But when you think about it, all these other people that are outside of what we do,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how many times here in my town, it's a small town. I moved from the big city. I grew up in Toronto, the Toronto Brampton area. And then even I was there for like 30 years, moved to Edmonton for 3 years, which is another big city. And then I moved to a small town here, marrying a valley girl. And one thing my wife would say when I would make my pricing and things like that, it's like, you're never going to get that there here because people here won't do it. And it's a mindset because then
Yeah.
it starts deflating you a bit because you start thinking, by moving here, I'm worth less. And
Mm-hmm.
these are the people, they're throwing things down at you at all times. But I mean, here I am. That was 2006 when I moved here, and here
Yeah.
I am now 2021, and I'm the only brick and mortar photography studio in my 3 towns that are here, one city and 2 towns.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the only, that's what, 40, 50,000 people, and I'm the only brick and mortar photography studio still standing.
Counts for
And
a
I
lot.
don't see me going anywhere. So you got to take that distractions, take that noise, and just take some of it. For some of them are just trying to be helpful, and you take some of what they say, but don't take it in stone. You can. There's always things you can do.
So you didn't listen to her, and obviously you don't want to disrespect her. You want to sort of educate her and get her as your number
Yeah.
one ally, right?
I took what she said to heart a little bit, and I adjusted my pricing a little bit. I didn't make myself go really like the cheapest or anything like that, but I did have to adjust my mindset a little bit. Like, okay, you're not in the big city now, but you also don't want to have that small town mentality. You want to sort of get in between because she's lived here most of her life. If not, she lived in Ottawa for a while too, but she's lived here most of her life and she knows the area. But
Yeah.
that's when my stubbornness comes in, and it's like, I'm going to prove you all wrong. And,
That's a good challenge. I'm going to prove
Yeah.
you all wrong. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. Motivation.
where's that song, Garth Brooks, Standing Outside the Fire? I've always thought of that when I think of business.
Okay.
Because the one line that's in there, it's life is not tried, it is truly survived if you're standing outside the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's totally true. If you're just going to sit outside and look in at all times, you're never going anywhere. But
Mm-hmm.
if you get into that fire and start making things happen, it's going to go your way. But that line always stuck with me.
John, I'm all fired up, man. You got me motivated. So, yeah, you know, with this whole COVID thing, this is the only time in my life, besides when I was a hardcore party animal, but I'm going to say this was probably the biggest challenge I've had to deal with on an emotional level, was dealing with COVID. So I don't believe in lockdowns. I think it's a very, very, very destructive
Yep.
activity. And, of course, being self-employed, all my friends, I don't know anybody, well, other than the photographer friends, but, you know, my family, everybody, like, for example, I have one, there's a couple we hang out with quite a bit. She's retired. He works at the mines. He has a good job. And last year they said something just off the cuff. They said, well, you know, not much has changed for us. I mean, you got to wear a mask. And I'm like, oh, God. Yeah, nothing much has changed for you. Everything for most people, they still collect their checks. Meanwhile, usums, we're out there, we're like, stay home and watch Netflix. I really, I really had a hard time with that. But I'm coming around. So I'm pushing forward, and my mindset is changing. It took. I'm like what you said about yourself. You're stubborn and pigheaded. I'm the same way. And sometimes that could feed on itself, and it can start to really deteriorate my mindset, which is where it was going.
Yep.
I pulled back, and I said, okay, what do I need to do here? What do I need to do here to fix this? And so I got to watch my thoughts. I got to watch what I take in, and it's working. So here's the mindset. Cling.
Cling.
Anyways, on that note, let me tell you what Grant Cardone's quote is in his book, Obsessed or Be Average. By the way, I have a summary of this book plus a bunch of other books in the forum. Whenever I read a good book I like, I make a summary of it, and I make a PDF, and there's about 7 or 8 books now, maybe more, maybe less, I'm not sure. This is one of the best books I've ever read on business, called Be Obsessed or Be Average. All right, just a quick quote, and then I'm going to show you my fairy day stuff, okay? So he says this, he says, society has always had a problem with people like you and me. We see ourselves as entrepreneurial, scrapers, competitors, hard workers. I think I said this already. Those who don't get it, including your friends, family, employees, and colleagues, will tell you things like, slow down, life is to be enjoyed, don't work too much, don't work too hard, take it easy, be grateful, someone else is worse off than you, life is short, money isn't everything, bigger isn't better, And a quote that I added on there is, "Don't be arrogant." A lot of people think business people are arrogant and snobby. But anyways, yeah. And so we have to fight those forces as well. And we're kind of standing on our own. And it's the name of that tune. You're a fish out of water, John, moving in from the big city to the Ottawa
Oh, tell me
Valley.
about it. But I always tell everybody around here, it's easier for somebody like me from the city to move here and slow down and get comfortable than it is somebody who's grown up in a small town like this and then they move to the city. 9
Right.
out of 10 times they end up moving back. It's too fast paced. It's too this. It's too that. They just don't like it. So
Yeah.
I'd go back in a second, but my whole family's back in the city still. So
Yeah. I'm a small town boy myself.
now the one thing I do like about here is I find different than, and I think COVID's made you realize this, is in a small town, everybody fights together. Everybody gets together. They come together for a cause. As you know, I do a lot of volunteering in this area. I volunteer with the Hospital Foundation. I volunteer with the local women's shelter. I
Right.
do volunteer work with one of the mental health places here, Robbie Dean Center, where we fundraise and things like that.
Yep.
And one thing I notice is how much people get involved here and come together and help somebody when they're down. And we try and pick each other up and do what we can to help that person out. Whereas in the city, it's not like that. A lot of times in the city, it's just dog eat dog. Everybody's cutthroating everybody, and it's like,
Yeah. That's got to be a cool thing to have that community. That's
Yeah.
almost like a family feeling.
feels like Cheers, the old TV show Cheers, where everybody knows your name type of thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's kind of special. I mean, it's got a dark downside too. I mean, everybody gets their face in your business, but
and it's fun too. Like it's actually a good feeling when you go places. Like last night, I was volunteering with our local Kojiko Your TV, doing video for them because they had the candidates for the election, and they're doing the debates. The local candidates here are doing their debating, and one of the candidates, she was with the NDP representative of this area. Was there, and they were allowed to bring one person with them to sit with them. And I didn't recognize, because we all had these masks on, of course. You can't recognize some people when you do know them. And then one girl, she had her hair in a bun and mask on, and introducing her. I'm telling her, "Oh yeah, well I'm John." She goes, "Oh no, I know who you are." I go, "Oh, what's your name?" And she's like, "Sheila." I go, "Oh, I know who you." I didn't recognize you with the mask. But it's like even some people, I'll go to places and I'll mention to them, and I'm like, I forget where I was the other day, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I was doing another one 2 weeks ago. I was doing a video for another friend of mine, and the person who owned the farm we were at, and they were like, we're talking and that, and I'm like, yeah, I help Sean whenever I can. I actually have my own photography business over in Laurentian Valley there, and they're like, what's your name? And I go, it's John A. Butler Photography. She goes, you're not John, right? I'm like, well, yeah, I'm John. He goes, oh, we've met at many things in the past. And it's like, that's the thing about a small town, is everybody knows everybody, and if you're doing your marketing right,
Yeah.
whenever you say photography in this area, I'm sure most people will mention. If you mention 3 photographers you know in the area,
You want to be number
most
one?
of the time, I don't know if I'll be number one, but I'll be within those 3. I'm pretty sure.
pretty
I'm not trying
sure.
to toot my own horn, but it's just a matter of I'm
Yeah.
out there and I'm in the public and people are seeing my stuff. So
I'd toot away, man, because that's exactly what it is. I've said that before. I said branding really is all about owning space in people's minds, and you can go downtown and ask 100 people at random, what do you think of when you think of photography studios? Your name wants to come up at the majority of the time.
Yep.
You want to dominate the market. You want
Definitely.
to do what you need to do to make that happen. You want to do what most people are not willing to do to make
Yep.
that happen.
And I used to do. Sorry, I was gonna say I used to do Pedal Showcase all the time too for like 9 years, and my wife would always say, "You're not making any money yet, bringing in the money.
Yeah.
How do you know it's even working for you?" And because I'd pay like $400 for the booth or something in that, or 300, whatever it was, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not like a Sensi rep or a Candle rep where they're selling products right there, and you can kind of gauge how well you do.
Yeah.
I might talk to people, and
You're talking
as long as
about
I'm engaging.
You're talking about doing displays and talking to
Yeah,
people.
displays and talking to people. And as long as I'm engaging with the public there enough times throughout the day, to me, that's successful, because they might not hire me right now.
Yeah.
But when 2 years down the line or a year down the line, when they want to do family portraits or something, they'll think, oh, what was that guy at Showcase I was
I
talking
think
to?"
displays are really, really powerful.
They are.
Old school marketing, I would do them still. I've done them up until a few years ago, COVID and all, at arts and crafts fairs at the local schools where they have a 2-day, like thousands of people go there. It's like, man, you can't get that kind of an exposure for such cheap prices, even if
I
it's
agree.
$500. So, hey, can you show my screen?
I sure can. I saw it down there. I just didn't want to bring it up until you're ready to see it. So
Yeah, bring it up. Well, let's get into her.
all right.
So I don't know. You can still see me, right? My webcam.
Oh yeah, we can see both of us and the
I got to show you this. This is my our. We have custom made
thumb drives.
thumb
Yeah,
drives
pink
for
door. That looks cool.
pink door weddings. We bought a bunch of these last year, 3 years ago, and we started getting into pop up weddings.
Yeah.
We used them all up, and we just got a new batch, and these are a little bit different.
I have to get some in myself because I like to use them for my corporate clients when
Yeah.
they do their corporate stuff. I have one client, I do all their headshots, like 20 people, and then we put it on a thumb drive for them, and I gave it to them with their logo on it. And every time they get a new one and I send it to them online gallery, they can download it and put it right on that thumb drive, and it's got my logo right on it.
That's smart because
Yeah.
they'll know that's the picture drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always tell gigs like that, say, you're probably going to forget where your files are, so make sure you have a system in place, and that's a
Yep.
really good solution. All right, so this is 2 weeks ago when I got into
That was London, right?
Yeah, London, Ontario. We drove down on Thursday. Thursday night, I did an engagement shoot for a young lady and her fiance because I'm doing a wedding there next year, of which my wife is the wedding officiant. Her dad, I've known since grade 5. I did him and his wife's wedding in the early 80s, one of the first weddings I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done her older sister's wedding 4 years ago. So this is like the 7th wedding where I photographed the mom and dad's wedding. So when you've got some traction and mileage on you. Mm-hmm. So we went down Thursday to do that. Friday morning, we went in at 9 o'clock. And the dance studio that we're at this is our 3rd time there. Just did some Google searches. I mentioned this before. Looking for a dance studio. The offer was, we'll pay you $1,000 plus a commission on our sales. And she said yes. Well, the first thing she said was no, we already got a photographer. And then I did a video. I did a video and I explained it to her. I said, Rebecca, I said, we don't want to be your dance school photographer. I said, this is what we want to do. So she's a real go-getter, this lady. I picked the right studio. She's extremely motivated. I found out once I teamed up with her that she's a big player in the industry. She speaks at conventions and that. So I certainly picked the right woman to team up with. And her personality, I like that personality. She's a real go-getter. I've always appreciated and enjoyed being around people like that. So our first year was kind of a test. Let's see how it works. Our second year, which was last year, more of the same, and we got to talk to her more. And then 2 weeks after last year's visit there, she sent us a referral to a big dance school in the Golden Horseshoe there, Stony Creek. Obviously, you know where that is.
Yep, down by Hamilton.
Yeah, but we couldn't make it happen because of COVID. It just ruined everything. So, but my point is this, is that when I remember the three of us, my wife and her, having a conversation last year, and we were actually talking at a deeper level. We were conversing and connecting, and I remember when she let us in, and then she left, I told my wife, I said, this is working out really well. This lady is going to be very instrumental in helping us down the road. You watch. And I was right, because boom, 2 weeks later, we got a referral from her. And that would have grown into more and more and more if we wanted to pursue this. I'm not sure that we do. However, that's not my point. So I was talking to my daughter last night. One of the conversations we had was she had mentioned she wanted to join the Chamber of Commerce. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing that you said that. I didn't tell her that. She just came up with it. I said, and that's what you do, John, B&I.
Yep, B&I and Chamber. I'm a member of the Chamber, too.
So I said, your network is your net worth. And that's one of the smartest things you can do.
Exactly.
So, but anyways.
And B&I is a great one, too, because it's one per profession. So I'm the only photographer in there. And I'm dealing, right now we have, I think, 32 members. So I have 31 other members in there that either are the owners of their businesses or the high-end managers of their business or one of the top sales guys if it's like in the car dealership. And so you're building relationships with all these business owners. And if you're into corporate photography and headshots, that's where you want to be. And then they recommend you to other businesses they know. And yeah, I've met probably hundreds of businesses just by being a part of B&I.
And they're going to promote you. There's no doubt.
Yep.
There's no doubt they're going to promote you. You're so top of mind with these people that their loyalty is probably, unless you're doing something really stupid like showing up all high on cocaine or smelling like salami. And
I must be doing something right because I take over October 1st for the next year as our chapter's president for our
nice.
chapter.
You're a
They all nominated
presidente.
me in, so
That's pretty cool. So yeah, that kind of stuff is very, very valuable. And when I talk about being willing to go the extra mile, this is, some people are shy, and if you're shy, man, you have to get over it. You have to join Toastmasters.
well, you did Toastmasters. Yeah, I was going to say you did Toastmasters.
1991, it changed my life.
Yeah, I never did Toastmasters.
Well, you probably don't need it as much as I did. By the way, I did an executive head shoot yesterday. The guy was about 67 years old. And nice guy, super nice guy. I hadn't seen him since the 80s, because he had a big job as a manager at the local, what's the taxation data center, which we have in our city. But he also did weddings as a DJ, him and his wife.
Okay.
I didn't know that. He's so ambitious that he had a full-time job, which paid him really well. And he
H&R Block maybe, or
no,
Liberty or
the
something?
Canadian Taxation Data Center. We have
okay.
we have a humongous building here. All of
Okay.
Canada, the taxes come here to our city.
Oh, that's true too. I have remember seeing Sudbury on some.
It looks it's this massive. It's a beautiful building. It looks like the Starship Enterprise.
Yeah. So it's not like he has to do photography. He does it. 'cause he
No,
wants to.
he did it anyway. He did it for 11 years, or actually DJing weddings.
Okay, sorry.
So, but anyways, I kind of knew him. I hadn't seen him in a long, long time. His wife passed away a year ago from a debilitating disease. It was tragic. But he wanted to have a picture. He's thinking maybe soon enough, maybe not right away, but he's going to go on to dating sites. He wants to meet someone. He says, I don't want to be alone. So, anyways, that's not my point. He wanted a headshot for those reasons. So, and I was trying to pull the old Peter Hurley on him, and which I think, John, for a guy like you, you're pretty outgoing. For a guy like me, I'm pretty outgoing. I don't struggle with coming out of my shell. Right?
Yeah. I was like, no, not now. You don't. No,
Not
like,
now.
When I was younger, I was shy too. What helped me was coaching minor hockey.
So it got you out of your shell. And so I'm just being myself. And the guy stops about 5 minutes in. He goes, you got a really good personality for this. Well,
it took
thank
you to your 60s to get that compliment.
Well, I've had people tell me that was enjoyable. I really enjoyed that, but I've never had people say that to me. And who knows? Maybe people are thinking it.
I get it all the time about you when you come to do the fairy portraits, and then after they come to pick up their portraits or something, and I always ask them, or when they're leaving, after you've done the shoot and they're leaving, and I'll go up to them saying, hope you guys enjoyed yourself, hope you had a good time. And they're like, oh yeah, like he is amazing at what he does. Like he's perfect for this type of thing because the kids love him. He's really good with the kids, and so I get it all the time. So
no, that's something at 63 I'm just sort of becoming aware of. That this is my mojo.
Yeah,
not time to retire now. That I'm just becoming.
But like I
aware
said,
of
coaching hockey helped me because when you're coaching minor hockey, you're in charge of 15 to 18 young children, and once a month or once every couple of weeks, we'd have to do what we call a parent meeting, where we get all the parents of that kid into a dressing room. And they sit around, and we basically have to explain what we're going to do with their kids for the next month and how we're going to teach them what kind of goals we have for them in that. So I had to learn to speak in front. We got 15 to 18 kids. You're looking at, if both parents are there, you're looking at 30-something parents or more if they're a mixed family.
How many years ago was that?
This would have been in the 90s. I coached for 14 years in Brampton.
Oh, really?
I coached minor hockey and rep hockey. And so you had to learn how to communicate.
There's your Toastmasters,
so
John.
That was my Toastmasters, basically. So whatever works.
Yeah. No, whatever works. I agree. So, anyways, so Rebecca, the owner of this dance school, has been working out really well, and we have.
Is that just the front area?
Yeah. So the first time we were there, we used she's got like 8 or 9 dance halls. Her rent here is $20,000 a month.
I can imagine. Look at the size of just the front room.
Yeah. So last year she gave us a front area. The first time 3 years ago we were in the back. I like being here because it's less of a walk. Otherwise I got to walk all the way down the hall to the very end, which is all right. But I like it here with all that light coming in. And we set up lots of room, and I can use I always use my big giant light whenever I can.
Yep.
And so I wanted to say something else about Rebecca. I was really curious how she was struggling through all this. And she was very optimistic. She's got a real go-getter attitude. Because I was concerned for her. I mean, $20,000 a month and you got no business. how the hell are you going to survive through that? And she's got such a wonderful attitude. It was really, really inspiring. So, yeah, that's good. So, anyways, let me get on with the details of Fairy Day, if I may. So you can see all the stuff. We just got in. The first thing we set up is the rack right here for all the outfits and dresses, and then I start setting up my lights. And then there's the whatever that inch,
86, I think it is.
86-inch PLM. It's like a big giant umbrella, but if you're going to get this kind of, I really like this light. Now you think I used it at your studio, eh?
Yep, use mine, yeah.
Yeah, and it's my favorite light for this kind of stuff, but it's just so damn big. You need a lot of ceiling height and whatnot. And you have to get the front diffusing panel. It costs a little extra to buy that. So I got that set up, and here we're set up a little bit more. I'm stretching out the backdrop, and Tina is fumigating because we got all kinds of cockroaches and lice. No, we got lots of wrinkles. She has a steamer, and she steams the dresses and steams the backdrop. The steamer seems to be the best way to get wrinkles out.
I agree.
So, or if you have a real serious issue with steamers, you can use a bottle of the hottest water you can get, and spray it on there.
And then leave it to dry.
And that works really well too.
Yeah, it's supposed to relax the fabric or something.
So here we are, we're getting set up. This backdrop is a 10 by 10. I originally ordered a 10 by 20, but if you can imagine that backdrop stretched out to 20 feet, it doesn't work. So can you see my cursor?
Yep.
So when you stretch this out to 20 feet, the crease right here ends up being right here. So that's no good. So I bought another one after I found that was the situation, and we just use an older Silver Lake, the backside. Did we do that at your place, or did
I think you did, or you had? No, you had. I think a second one of that same backdrop that you used on the ground.
Right.
It had leaves. Looks like leaves on the ground.
I had the original 10 by 20. That's
yes,
right.
and you used that for the bottom.
Yeah. No, we're doing this now.
And we hid it behind that. The rest of it.
We taped her down and everything. Yeah. So we use Mylar because a 4x4 doesn't fit in either of our cars, and I know you have a 4x4 at your studio.
Yep.
4x4 mirrored plexiglass.
Yep.
But a piece of Mylar that I bought from Amazon works really, really well. I was nervous the first time we tried that, thinking people are going to know, they're going to complain. Never. We've done literally hundreds on Mylar. So here's my wife cutting the piece of Mylar, and then she's taping it down, and then we're starting to put the rocks on there. You can see over to the right, that's my laptop.
Okay.
Tina's laptop is over here. My laptop, as soon as I do a shoot, I download, and I have an action for Photoshop, and I resize. And when I got a chance, I do my first edit. So I eliminate all the flubs and eyes closed. And if there's a lot of repetitiveness in the poses, I start to do a bit of a hard edit. Because I want these sessions to go, the proofing sessions to go smooth and without too much. If there's a lot of images for them to look at, that'll delay it. Tina's really good at managing that, getting them through it. And one of the issues is that as I mentioned, I don't like doing selling. So she's totally willing and able to do it, but she's afraid that we're going to get backed up. So I was there on our final day, when we started proofing, in case she gets backed up. And I said to her, well, look, let's skip all that. What we got to do is tell everybody preemptively, your proofing sessions are 30 minutes. And we send that in an email. And after the sessions are done, we remind them, okay, your session to view these. So we shoot for 2 days, and then 2 days henceforth, we do the actual proofing. So they come back to see the proofs, the final images, and make their order. By the way, everybody ordered something. Sales were astronomical. It was amazing. So 30 minutes, and they get a reminder in the email that says you're proofing. We want people to know, okay, I got 30 minutes. I mean, that's totally reasonable, and it worked out really well. So here's Tina finishing up the rocks and the plants and putting everything down.
Actually, the Mylar is kind of nice because it almost adds like little ripples in there like water.
It does, actually. The only problem is that doesn't do a nice clean reflection the way plexiglass does. So I don't really do much of the reflection shot. So, okay, here we go. You see this on the bottom here? I just got that in. I bought that on Amazon.
Okay.
You know how you get ads in Facebook? So this was promoted to me last year, and I saved it. So I'm going to order this one day, and it was like $100. So a couple of weeks ago, before we went down to London, I said I'm going to go see if I can buy it on Amazon, and I did, and it was way cheaper on Amazon. There it is.
That's awesome.
It was $35,
Yeah.
but the original website was like $100. So what it does is it throws up like a night sky.
Yeah. Gives that ambiance.
Yeah, and I just like to do that to improve the experience and add to the experience. I turn the lights down, and I have 3 of these lights as well that you buy at Christmas time if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot. And so I want lots of sparkles everywhere. I really want an ambiance. I want music, and we give everybody a toy and a bag of treats.
I like how you can play music through that too.
You can, yeah. Although I did not do that. I have
Just put on a memory card. It looked like it had an SD slot there.
I have a speaker over here running off my laptop. But you can see over here is a box of toys, and there's a box of gummy bears, and we give the kids one of those.
You get little treasure chests like I have that you use at my studio to put the toys in.
I used to have one of those.
I got it at the dollar store.
Here's where I moved the Starlight thing. I just put it there, and I let it run. It's really cool.
And your lights overpower it, right? So it doesn't affect the picture at all. You don't get little speckles on the people in that. So.
No, it's not that strong. So.
Yeah, that's good.
So here we're all good to go. I do my see this note right here on the mushroom. I do an ID shot of everybody, and on the back side we write down the kids' names, and I put that envelope right here, so because I forget their names all the time, so I can have a constant reference to their name. And here's the first shot to see is everything looking good. Now what I look for are shadows. See the mushroom? I like those shadows.
I do too. It makes it look 3-dimensional.
Yeah, you want that, and you could see the backlight. I add a blue gel to it.
Okay.
So we got blue and yellow, hot and cold. Nice combination. It works really well. Main lights at f8, 100 ISO. 2 kicker lights are at 5.6 and 2/3. 2/3.
2/3.
So here's my wife with our little. This is our new look. We have this little treasure box here, and I have this inside. This is one of the best little flashes I've ever bought. It's by Godox, but Strobe Pro out of Alberta.
Yeah.
Calgary. They branded it to their name, but it's from Godox, and it's $190 Canadian. It's one of the best little flashes I've ever used, and $200.
Yeah, and it's nice. There's a proprietary battery there too, so you can just charge it.
You charge it, and it lasts forever. It's got a built-in wireless transmitter or receiver. It's got an optical slave, so I put that inside the box, so when the main light fires, boom, there it is. So I do a test. This is kind of one of the newer poses we've added. And all I do was I crank up the light inside the little treasure box here, and then I darken to the rest of the light by 1 stop. Okay. So this is the difference. So you can see, because I want that glow to really be obvious. And I try and turn my subjects this way. This is important. See, I don't like these harsh shadows here and all that, so I turn them in. And I'm going to show you an actual picture with this in a minute. So here's 3 little girls coming in. This little girl on the left, she's like not even 2 years old. And typical of what happens, the moms come in, they got their masks on. We always tell them, say, you don't have to wear the mask if you don't want to. 99.99% of the parents are, take the mask off. And so here's one of the sessions from those 3 girls, and here's the final result for the box. So we tell them, don't look inside at the flash, look at this little hooky thing right here. So we get pretty good results. And I've been
that's
asking.
A good expression.
Yeah, well, I've been asking them to do that. I said, can you go like you're like amazed, and you're like, oh, there's magic in this box, and they do that, and then smile a little bit, and so. Anyways, parents are loving that pose, so they're buying it. So, anyways, these are some shots from London Fairy Day 3 weeks ago, and that's how we set it up.
No, we always love it when you come here, and I know you've been trying to get me to do it myself, but I'm like, you know what? Why not get the expert to do it? Because everybody else that does it is trying to mimic you, and you're the one who created this whole type of thing, and so they get you to do it, and then I get paid just to be here.
You'll make more money if you do it on your own.
Oh, that's true. I know that, but
you're trainable, Don. We'll get to you. We'll work on you.
I just don't want to have to buy all the stuff yet.
Yeah.
Although eventually what I'm going to do, and I've been talking to my wife about this, is maybe between now and when you come back next summer, I'll buy maybe like the mushroom, or I'll buy some of those trees, some of the stuff, so you don't always have to bring so much stuff with you. If I can, a little
Yeah.
bit at a time, buy more and more.
That's a
By the
smart
time,
idea.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then by the time you don't want to come anymore, I'll have all the stuff.
You'll be ready to go, and you'll have done so many of these with me there. It'll be like, you'll know exactly what to do.
It'll get to the point where you and Tina can come and do them, but you just have to bring one car because you don't have all that stuff.
Yeah. So this little girl, she's not quite 2. She wouldn't put the wings on. So these wings were added later. I don't know if it shows. It's a little bit crooked, but so all I did was copy these and move them over.
Yeah, you did that to one of the ones at my studio too.
We do little boys too.
That's a cool shot.
Yeah, and the boys, I don't like the Peter Pan look. We have another outfit which is like the Hobbit, which I told my wife, I said we shouldn't even give them the knights. Because to me, it's a disconnect. It's good with the medieval look that we have, the castle and the castle wall. For Fairy Day, we have the Hobbit look, and, it's suitable to have a little sword.
Yep.
And so that's kind of just came up 2 weeks ago in London. So
that's what, more of a like a cloak type of thing?
You're talking about
The Hobbit one. Is it more like a cloak, or?
let me show it to you. Can you see? Can you
Now
see?
we still see the little boy.
Okay, I got to change it then. I'm going to show you. Hold on.
Look at me, I'm making you work.
Oh, it's all good. Here we go. Okay, I got to stop sharing. Right, and then I got to go back in
Exactly. You're learning. You're learning.
and reshare. It's one thing I don't like about Zoom.
Yeah. Early on, John Rumble had said that you're just a big kid, anyways.
He's right.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yep. There we go. I can see it now. Oh yeah, I remember that picture. That's in your advertising all the time.
That's our Hobbit look, and we've used that quite
I
a
like
bit.
that. Yeah.
I think we should be using that all the time. I have fun with the boys too, and I tell them, I say, you got 3 swords to choose from. This one's for fighting knights, this one's for fighting orcs, and this one's for fighting trolls. They always want the big one, which I'm gonna eliminate. I'm just gonna give them the choice between the 2 swords, and I tell them, I say, you got to be really careful. You got to be responsible. You don't cut your sister's head off. No cutting your sister's head off. Yeah, it's true. So, okay, I'm gonna stop sharing and go back to where I was. Boom. Oh, my wife's calling. I'll answer the phone later. Okay, so I'm back to the other little dude with the night outfit. All right, can you see it?
Nope. Oh wait, let me see. I was on full screen there. That's why. Yes, I can. There we go. Now we see you.
That little girl was very, very young. She was really hard to manage.
She's adorable though.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. I got some other stuff I want to talk about, technical stuff. So we did a lot of pop-up weddings the last 3 months. I've been using that flash I showed you.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. So here's me setting up, ready to go on pop-up wedding day, and it's just, I do a test in my kitchen. I do this all the time. I just verify what lighting am I going to use with this little flash inside the church and what have you. So I have the flash straight on it's got a diffuser on it, and you can see the shadows. And here it is bounced up. Okay. Big difference, right? And here it is bounced left. Here it is bounced right. It's our kitchen. That's all for that. I had those shots.
Yeah.
And I'm just.
And you can use your regular Godox trigger with that you use for your 600 and 200.
I can. Then you can see the Godox trigger on my camera right here.
Yep.
So the Godox trigger is on the 85 mil lens, and I have my other body with the 16 to 35. The flash is on that one because that's the one, walking down the aisle and all the church shots. I use the flash for that. But if I need to take it off, I can fire that Godox with this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hell of a complicated menu. It's taken me a long time to get to know it, but now I know it. It's really, really tricky. There's so many buttons. So here's my last pop-up wedding from a week ago on a Saturday, and this is the church that we've been doing them all at. It's a chapel. We don't call it a church. We call it a chapel. It sounds more romantic. It's a historic chapel. It's over 100 years old. And here's the side of the building where I do a lot of the pictures. And I just was like, that wall is such a good reflector, isn't it? And
It's definitely it's a natural reflector for you. You don't have to
Yeah.
bring with you. It's already there.
And I'm always trying to be aware of stuff like that. Most of the time, you'll see stuff reflecting from the ground. Like you could put somebody right here, and this little strip of light will reflect back up into their face. But if you keep them in open shade, those little things are pretty important to be aware of.
Yep.
And so I'm looking at that and I say, yeah, that's pretty good light. I should use it more often, because all I use are my AD 600, the Godox. This is the exact light here.
Yep.
This is from a family shoot from a couple of years ago. I just wanted to show you guys that this is the light I use. And usually I'm here for all the formals after the ceremony. And that's typically what I get. Group shots, shots of the couple, what have you. We got the Godox lighting in, acting as a main light. You can see the specular in their eyes. And often I'll throw a reflector on the ground in case it picks up a little more. But let me show you this. This is what I found fascinating. I thought, you know what? I know that light's there. I know it'll work as a pretty good light source. And here it is with no Godox. So why not?
Exactly.
Godox, no Godox.
Yep.
It works.
It does. Oh, that's a nice set. I would love to do a family portrait right there.
All right, let me show this family photo that I've been photographing this family since they were little kids. And every year, they're financial planners. Every year they come in, they order like 1,000 4x5s or 5x7s or something like that. They order greeting cards, yeah. And it's like a habit now. So the last couple of years we've been going to their house. And their house slopes down to the lake, so it's tricky. Last year I photographed them right here. But this year I was on my own. My wife was still in, she was still in London doing proofing. So this was the day after Fairy Day. I came back and I had this session booked at 2, 3 in the afternoon. So I was looking around, walking around, I'm checking out, and I'm like, oh, this is not bad. It's sloping a bit. People tend to not like that. I don't want to use this part, which is where we did them last year. And besides, if I was here, I'm quite a distance away from the main light, and that would be risky because of the wind, and I don't have an assistant. Usually my wife comes with me on all family shoots. As you can tell right here, there's my wife. Anyways, so I said, you know what? Driving in the driveway, I noticed this area. It looks pretty good. And I thought, why don't I just use that? And there's my car. So I moved my car out. They had a dog leash. I took the dog leash and I tied it around this branch, and I just pulled it way over here, got that out of the way. And you could see the branch. And they had two vans behind me, and I asked them to move those. And their front door is right there, so we just used this area here.
No, that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and there was no wind because the west is the other side of them, and it's very much on the lee side of the wind, so it was very much protected. And yeah, so that's what we ended up with. So, any questions on that? Any comments? These are straight off the camera. These have not been retouched yet.
Just using your Godox with your
55 mil
box or
lens. 55 mil lens on, with the Godox.
full frame
transmitter.
55 mil.
Yeah, and it's one of the sharpest lenses I have. It's an amazing lens. But you can see there's little bits on her pants or... this is unretouched. There's absolutely zero retouching. They haven't ordered yet, so... So, yeah. This is a son-in-law. This is a future son-in-law. They're engaged. There's one daughter, one son, one daughter. So there's 3 girls, 1 boy. Mom and dad. Nice people. Really, really, really nice people. You know what it's like, John. You connect with people. You're with them for years and years and years. You're like Uncle Johnny.
Exactly. I have a couple clients like that. One of my best clients was great. They came every year, get pictures done, and then they're military because we're in a military town, and they got posted to BC about 5 years ago, and I haven't seen them since. They're way down in BC now. So
Yeah, but if you know if they're ever back in your area,
Oh yeah, for sure.
they're going to be calling Uncle Johnny, Uncle Jay. All right. I posted a video that I shot this week. I was doing an engagement session last Sunday night, and I thought I'm going to do a video and put it in the Facebook group. And talked about some of the poses in that, in the area. And then when I downloaded, do you see that line on the bottom?
Yes.
I don't know what. See that one there?
Yep. It's like a purpley.
I don't know what the hell that is. So here's the thing. It happened to about 5 or 6 images, and I'm looking at it, I'm going, what the hell is this? So I went back to the camera, loaded the card back in, and looked at it. I said, well, it's not on the image when I look at it via the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So I re-downloaded the image, and it was fine. So this happened during the download, not during the capture.
So yeah, it was a defective download.
I want to know what's causing this, because this makes me nervous. So I
never get that with my Canon camera.
You do or don't?
I don't.
This is the first time I've had it, John. I've never seen this ever.
I'm just bugging you.
Did you see this before with yours?
No, I've never seen it. It looked almost. If it was pitch black, I could say, okay, you're above your sync speed, but that's not what it is. You can actually see still. So.
Well, this is non-flash, anyways. This is most of the shots from this session were natural light. Well, I want to talk about that in a minute, but I want to know if anybody knows what the hell's going on. Now, remember, this was not on the file, so the camera's not creating this.
Just in a transfer.
There's something happened when I went to download it. Something happened.
You should contact maybe Sony or somebody and find out with that camera, is that a common thing?
Yeah. You know, I've had that camera a long time. I like that camera so much, I bought 2 of them. Plus, I have the A7S, so I have 3 Sonys. Never seen this before. Anyway, so if anybody knows, please, please, please let me know. I would really appreciate it. I want to talk about this shot. I brought this Godox BM. I mentioned that. And I brought my beauty dish because I was alone. Normally when I'm with doing an engagement session, I don't bring my wife. But, you know, I'm like, why the hell did I bring my 600 to this shoot? Because normally I don't. I guess I had a moment. I forgot. I forgot that that's what I do. And the reason I don't bring any off-camera flash, other than my little one, if I need a little one, I'll bring it, or AD200, which is so light and portable.
Yeah.
The engagement shoots, I don't want to be bogged down. I want high energy. Let's keep moving. And so that's just a little thing. It's like, why the hell did I bring it? I don't need to bring it. So I want to show you.
I got a shot similar to that on my front wall, actually.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, there was a couple, and I wasn't using flash time. It was all available light, and I had my 7200, and I just said, oh, I'm just going to do something on my camera. You guys just be yourselves and just do whatever, and I'll let you know when I'm ready. And then they just started, he sings to her all the time. So he had his guitar like that, and she was up against him, and they were just playing. And then I just turned my camera up without them knowing, and I was a distance away and just started shooting a bunch of shots. They didn't even know I shot them. And then afterwards, it's okay, we're done. And they're like, well, we need our pictures. I'm like, no, I already shot them. They're like, what? And that happened to be one of the best shots. It was just them being them. Not
That's what you want. And
yep.
I really want them to have a good time on an engagement shoot. I don't want them to be, this guy and all this equipment. So, because on the wedding day, it's like, hey, Rob, yay. Good times, Rob. Mm-hmm. Can you see my screen, the same couple?
Same couple, yeah, with that purple on the bottom of it.
No, okay, I got to stop sharing. Hold on.
Yeah.
I want to show you something else.
So I did that trick when I did film dates back when I worked at Muscle Mag, and I was in California on the beach shooting a fitness model in her swimsuit, and I knew she was new and she was uncomfortable. So we sat there and we just started shooting away. And after I saw she's starting to get into it, and she's like, oh, this is so much fun. She's having fun. I said, okay, you're enjoying this now? She's like, yeah. And I said, you sure? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, let's put the film in the camera. And she started laughing, thinking I was joking. And I went and I opened the back of the camera and showed her there was no film in there yet because I knew she wasn't comfortable, and that was just going to be a waste of film because back then it was expensive.
Yeah. I wouldn't have told her that.
And then I put it in, but she laughing, but you knew she was like, you little prick. And then so we put the film in and we shot away, and we had some of the awesome shots. But I knew we probably shot a good 50, 60, 70 shots before I knew she was ready and comfortable. I would have wasted 2 rolls of film.
That's a good strategy. I totally, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't have told her. I would have kept it to myself.
Yeah,
However,
it was a good joke.
So, can you see the screen now?
I'm going to bring it in right now. There we go.
So, this is the couple without that flash.
Okay.
And I forgot why the flash wasn't. I was maybe doing an ambient shot, and then I'm going to add the flash, and I darkened it a little more.
It looks good just straight out of the camera like that.
Yeah.
Too.
So here's my point. Here it is with the flash. This is what these are straight off the camera, full resolution here. These are unedited. So I'm like, I don't need the beauty dish.
No.
This is fine. This is the first shot I'm testing, and I don't like the pose. Her head's away from him. His head's tilted in a feminine angle, so I get them all nice and posy.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it now, I think if I would have had them lined up right here, it might have been better. Maybe. I look at this stuff, and this is shot with the 135 at 2.8. It's the Sony Batis lens, which is a really nice lens. But, I'm like, why did I bring that flash? Why did I bring that beauty dish? I just had it in my brain that, we're going to use a beauty dish. It's going to be awesome. And it was a pain in the butt because I had to carry it with me, and I hardly ever used it. And the time I did use it, which was here, I was like, don't really need it. Lesson learned.
Yep. That's okay. So. That's like I started actually outsourcing some of my stuff when I'm getting busy, or if it's stuff that I find like glare in the glasses, things like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you could actually I can show you right now actually if you want. Let me see. I think I have one here because it helps save me a little bit of time too. Because they don't care how you get the final image as long as you get it. And the good thing is I used a company called retouchup.com.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing about it was it cost me to get the glare out of the glasses. It cost me, I believe it was like $2.50 American per shot.
Worth every penny.
Worth it. And I think it's this one here. Can you see those pictures?
Yes.
Okay, so that's my proof set that I gave them. And which one am I on here? There we go. So these are the proofs that I sent them. And like if I show you like let me see like these ones here, like I don't know if you can see the glare in her glasses there.
Yep.
Like it's not just glare, it's purplish too.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to get that matched up is not easy.
No.
Same with when you come down here to this girl here, it was the same thing on a couple of them. I don't know. It's hard to see on my screen here. That one's not so bad. But you can see on some of them if I was to show you, like the purple goes right into their eyes and stuff like that. I don't know if you can see it in this. There's purple in her eyes here. So I ended up, it was hard because in order to get everybody, like even this one's really bad. You can see it right here where my cursor is here.
Yep.
You can actually see the light, the octabox right in there. And she's got purplish in these eyes here. So what I did was I sent it to retouch. The ones that they ended up ordering, if there was any glare in the glasses, I sent it to them. This is the actual Pembroke Regional Hospital Foundation, and the gentleman there, he's their director, and then these 3 are his employees, basically. And so then I sent it to retouchup.com and said, I want to get the glare out of the glasses.
Problem solved.
So what I did is I'll remove that and do like you did. I'll stop screen and then share. And when I got them back, these are the ones I got back. So we had this girl here. There's no glare in her glasses whatsoever. A little bit of the Peter Hurley lighting going on in there.
Mm-hmm.
Not perfected yet, but it's getting there. This one had glare all through, like where the eye sockets were here. There's a big glare here. There's a big glare over here. Same with these group shots.
That's hard lighting to use with people with glasses. I mean, it's not as bad as 35 years ago, but it's...
Yeah. But this shots here with the groups and that, they were... I had my Einstein with a 36-inch octabox as my main light, and then lighting the background on both sides.
Okay. You still had glare, right?
And I still had glare from the octabox in these glasses here, And on his was actually pretty good. I think one time we had a little glare and I was able to get it out myself, but the girls, it was too much and it was going to cost so much time to get it out. And and who knows if I'm not a Photoshop guy that like real Photoshop people. So
You're a Photoshop wannabe.
so I sent it to them and I got it back 24 hours later done for me.
That's fast, eh?
And it cost me I think it was like 5 or 6 shots I sent. It cost me like $15 American and 24 hours of time. And then the next day I got them back and I was able to touch. They even touched up the skin for me. They actually
Really?
did some skin. It was the basic touch up. And then in the comments I said, also, can I get the glare out of the glasses? So they did the basic skin softening and glare out of glasses. And so when I got back, I didn't have to do anything to those shots. The ones that I sent away. Only the ones that I had to work on were the ones I didn't send away. And there's like
Cool.
1 or 2 of them. It's worth it and it saves you time. Then you can work on other stuff.
Yep. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Like I told people, I don't make money sitting in front of a computer. I make money shooting. And if I can only do 1 or 2 shots because I'm spending the rest of the week editing, then I'm not making any money. But if I can get everything right in camera and the stuff I didn't get right, either an easy fix or send it away to be done, then I can be doing 5 or 6 shoots a week and making more money.
That's the goal.
Yeah. So
That's the ideal. So
yeah. Work hard. Or what is it?
work hard on your business, not in your business.
Exactly. Right? Something like that. Or work hard in your business, not on your business. Something like that.
Or the E-Myth by Michael Gerber has basically the same principle that he taught in his book back in the 90s. One of the best business books of all time. Most small business owners are technicians suffering from an entrepreneurial seizure, working in their business. And work, and they get burned out. So you don't want to do it all.
When I teach my photography 101, I tell them, try and get everything right in camera, because if you got to use Photoshop to fix your image instead of Photoshop to just enhance it and play with it, then you're doing something wrong.
It's like a quote I read last week, or maybe it was one of our live streams with one of our guests. I think that's what it was. He said, he or she said that if you have to explain an image, it's a fail. They didn't say it like that, but
no, but I know that's the gist of it, though.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, and I'm not going to stereotype all new photographers, but all the ones that started learning photography after, say, 2009, 2010, I think got a little lazy because they used the back of their screen to edit or to look at the picture and see if they've got it correct in that. They don't look at the histogram. They basically just shoot. They don't worry about other stuff. Whereas you and I started in film days, and we had to get it right in the camera. Especially with me as a magazine photographer, we didn't shoot negative. We shot transparency, like 35 millimeter slides. And there's like only a one-stop variance on there. If you're off by more than, say, a stop, either way, your image is ruined. And so you had to learn how to get it proper in camera, or else you ruined the shot. And you don't know until you go and get your film developed and get it back. And that was worrisome when I was a wedding photographer back in the film days, because you shoot the whole wedding, and then you on your way home you're starting thinking, okay, did I have this set right? Did I do that right? Did I hit this button? Did I do that by accident? And until you got your proofs back from the lab to make sure your shots were good, because you can't reshoot a wedding.
That's why you don't do weddings anymore. Too much stress.
Digital, it wasn't as much stress anymore.
No.
But no, it's I find that a lot of the new generation of photographers are lazy in a way. I'm not going to stereotype everybody, because I'm going to get a lot of hate mail from people, but I think a lot of them did get lazy because they rely on their camera and the back screen to evaluate their images, and the back screen is always lying to you.
You got to know your exposures. I mean, you got to learn it like the back of your hand, just like a chef knows cooking and their ingredients and temperatures and all that. You get to know that stuff.
Exactly. The three things you got to learn: that exposure triangle, your color temperature, and focus. How to focus your camera properly. If you can learn those three things, there's nothing you can't do in photography.
Yeah. Well, you can take shitty images of shitty things.
Yeah. But then I don't consider you a photographer.
Learn how to see. So.
Yeah.
All right, let's go, John. I'm out of here. Thanks for doing this. So
it's good.
We'll do it again next. Yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it, and hopefully those people watching and or watching the replay enjoyed it as well. If you have any questions,
and I've reached out to a couple high-end guests. you know me, I go for the jugular. I went for Peter and I got him. So
Yeah.
I've got 2 other ones I'm reaching out to and trying to get. I even asked Peter to help because he's friends with one of them. And I said, can you put in a good word for me? Because I've sent a couple messages. I haven't heard anything back yet. He's
Yeah.
like, well, give them about, they're really busy right now. Give them about another 6 months and try them again. So
Yeah, that's the
But-
thing.
yeah. But we're trying.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. Reach out and don't ask them for an all-out commitment right away.
No.
You got to baby step it. So
Yep. I reached out. I left my messages, and now it's just a matter of waiting to hear back. And if I don't hear back in a few months, then I'll reach out again.
Yeah.
They say sometimes, even with clients, you might not get clients until you reach out about 4 or 5 times. They have to hear from you about 4 times before they actually react to you. So,
persistence pays off.
yeah. But no, it's good. It was a good show.
Good. So we'll do it again next Wednesday, and
It'll either be the 2 of us or a guest. You never know until we know.
one or the other. And I've got a lot of, like you've put out your feelers to a lot of potential guest speakers, and I've done the same thing too. And I've done so many in the past. There's a lot of people that know me now. So
Well, what I'll do too is if we don't have any guests lined up, I'll put together something like you did today. I'll put together 1 or 2 of my shoots from last week and this week, and we can go through some of my stuff.
yeah, that's a good idea. Always lots.
Give you a
to
little
talk
break.
about.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got a family shoot this Sunday, so maybe I'll get that one together and I'll do some pullaways too for it.
There you go. Next week, family photography,
There you go.
a la John Butler.
Unless we get somebody special that we can bring on instead.
Either way, I'm all
All
on
right.
for it. Looking forward to it, buddy.
Sounds like a good go.
We'll talk soon.
Later.